Welcome to the show, guys. Happy Monday. Got an exciting one here for you. We are talking about count them, four must-have running backs you got to have on your roster. Some big names here. And we've got a special guest on the show. One of those must-have running backs is actually on the show, Tyjae Spears. So I got an interview with Tyjae Spears. Got four must-have fantasy football running backs. I'm ready to rock it. I'm ready to go. Happy Monday. Fantasy football is back. We are talking running backs that you must have. Let's get into it right now.
What's up, everybody? This is Connor Williams for the Los Angeles Rams running back, and I'm tuned in with the Fantasy Football Counselor.
All right, guys, welcome to the show. If you're new to the channel, if you're not new to the channel, it doesn't matter. Subscribe, smash it, tap it, slap it. The energy is high. Fantasy football is back, and we're talking my favorite subject, fantasy football running backs. I'm excited to dive in. And again, we got Tyjae Spears on the show. I'm excited to talk to him. Super nice, super humble guy. And I'm spoiling it already. He is one of the must-have running backs that we're going to talk about momentarily. Again, if you are new, hit the thumbs up, smash it, tap it, get this message out. I want people to learn about these players' personalities. That's why I get them on, because we see them as fantasy guys. We see these guys as just running backs or just wide receivers, just quarterbacks, guys that throw, catch, run the ball. Guys, they have personalities, they have feelings, they have their own stories. So I'm very blessed to have, got some of these guys on the show this year, and it's been super exciting. If you haven't listened to the Kyron Williams episode, go back. Trey Benson, go back and listen to those shows. And today we've got Tyjae Spears on the show. Super excited to have him on. So 4 must-have running backs. If you haven't gotten 16 rounds as well, grab the 16-round draft solution right now. And what it is, guys, you get sleepers, breakouts, optimal players drafted in each round, printable cheat sheet, full mock drafts. As soon as you get the course, you're going to get an email. You're going to get a login. You get access to everything. All my sleepers, this year's Sam Laporta. I've got it all laid out here for you on a silver platter. It'll literally put you light years ahead of the sheep, aka the consensus. Guys, this is the truth. 16 rounds is the bread and butter. And upon checkout, make sure you do grab a ticket to the Fantasy Sports Summit, guys. We're going to have Trey Benson, Tyjae Spears. We're going to have Kyron Williams, Pat Fryermuth, Frank Gore Jr., Rashid Shaheed, all at the Fantasy Sports Summit. And it's all done virtually from the comfort of your home. You get to just get a registration link and you join us online via StreamYard. It's going to be amazing. And you're entered for a PS5 giveaway as well. Everyone that gets a ticket. So we got the summit. We've got the 16-round draft solution. We got Tyjae Spears on the show. Everything you guys need to crush your leagues. Now, when I created literally my brand, I wanted to create things that no one else was offering and what I would want as a fantasy fan, and that's what we've got here. We've got the summit, we've got the solution, practical ways to win, and totally immerse yourself in the fantasy football community, okay? All right, let's get to it, guys. Again, smash the tap, hit the thumbs up. Let's go with the first must-have running back. Now, here's the thing. Let's talk quickly strategy here. When you are in the first round, okay, I implore you guys, when you are in the first round, I want to get a running back. So for me personally, it's my man, Tyjae Robinson, okay? Tyjae is a guy that I have to have. He's the first one here. Why? Well, one thing I look at, guys, when I am drafting anybody is he trending upwards or is he trending downwards? Now, when you look at a guy like Tyjae Robinson, and yes, that's how you pronounce his name. Bi is in bi-weekly, Ran is in Jan, Jan is in Ran. You guys get it, not Bijan, okay? It's Tyjae. I don't care. I pronounce things the way that I believe is right, okay? So Tyjae Robinson has to be a must draft this year. Now, you're saying, well, that's obvious, Joe. Thank you for giving me obvious information. Listen, a lot of people will still continue to draft CMC ahead of him. Some people will draft Justin Jefferson ahead of him. A lot of people actually will. But when you are in round one, when you're talking strategy, I think it's very important to have a Tyjae or a Breece Hall round one. I think this is crucial because I tried the zero RB strategy and it gets really dicey after round 4. Now, that being said, I still think there's a ton of sleepers, including Tyjae on the show, who's a must-have, that I think will have great seasons, okay? But the problem is, guys, is that it's still question marks. I still have question marks about these players, if that makes sense, right? Again, Jonathan Brooks, for example, could be the RB1. I think he will be. On offense, it was bad last year, made some improvements, but we don't feel as warm and fuzzy as we do with like a Tyjae or a Saquon or some of those guys in the early rounds, okay? So the first must-have is Tyjae Robinson. Let me know what you guys think below. drop your must-have. I want to make this super interactive, guys. If you guys have not hit the thumbs up yet, go do that. Smash, tap it, slap it. Hit the thumbs up. The energy's high. Fantasy football is back. Who is your must-have before I get to the second guy here, okay? Second guy, you guys know it. He's my must-have. Now, if you're new to the channel, you probably haven't heard me talk about these guys. If you are a person that comes to the channel and is subscribed and turned on the bell, which you should be because he's the only channel giving you guys the truth, you probably heard me talk about these guys, but that's okay. Sometimes repetition is the mother of skill. You need to hear things multiple times to actually start believing in the conviction. Right now, again, don't believe in my conviction. Have your convictions. Do your own research when you are selecting these players. But this is my belief. This is my conviction. This is what I believe in, okay? So number 2 here, he was on the show, and it's no coincidence that he was on the show, is Trey Benson is my must-have for me. Now, when you are looking at Trey Benson and Tyjae, they come off kind of like right after each other. And it's hard to get both of these guys. But first of all, let me go over why I like Trey Benson, okay? RB42, round 8. And if you go back and check the episode out with Trey Benson, when I told him he was like RB42, he was like shocked. He's like, whoa, like you could see it in his eyes. He's like, really? I'm I'm RB42. And I've talked about this in many shows. He's coming off round 8, and he is the RB1. James Conner coming off like round 5, 6, a guy that only had one 1,000-yard rushing season, was a backup to Le'Veon Bell for years, 28, 29 years old. Listen, Trey Benson is the future, okay? Now, out of the gate, it might not be the Trey Benson show, but the hot hand will prevail. The talent will prevail, okay? So I love Trey Benson. I think he's the real deal. I love the talent. He's got 4.3 speed. He's got the ability to break tackles that is pretty much second to nobody. He did it in college. His ability to break tackles is phenomenal. And the Arizona Cardinals want to win. If you want to win, you play your best player. That is Trey Benson. He's an absolute must-have for me. And I did miss out on him in a couple leagues where I went Tyjae, and I missed out on Tyjae in a couple leagues. I got Trey Benson. That's just the way it is. But again, you want to go top heavy with your Jans and guys like that. I explain all this in the 16-round draft solution. And then you want to get your Trey Bensons and Tyjaes at the right ADP later on, or maybe a round before they get taken off, okay? So a must-have for me, number 2, is Trey Benson. All right, so let's get to the next guy here who's actually on the show. We'll save the last one, not necessarily best for last, but I got one more I'm going to share with you guys as a must-have for me at the end of the show. But let's go over this, guys. Taj Spears, RB28, round 7 to 8 is his ADP. Why I like him. Before we get to the actual interview, guys, listen, this guy, 100 attempts last year. This is the guy that was the replacement. And again, if you listen to the conversation when I have with him, I don't think he doesn't want to be known as the replacement for Derrick Henry necessarily. Like, he doesn't want to fill those shoes. He's his own person. And I love that about him. I love the confidence. I love how humble he is. I love how strong he is, like mentally. Like, he is a guy that just is ready to crush it. Now, Pollard is going to get his work because he got paid, but Tyjae is going to be the one. Okay. Now, Pollard is coming off ahead of Spears, which is crazy. That's just the Chiefs' saving face for their failure last year when they told you to draft round 1. I said, avoid Pollard. He's a failed backup. Spears is the future. Spears is confident. And well, you guys be the judge once you listen to the interview. But after talking to him, man, dude, this guy's got it. Like, he's not as loud, not necessarily, I wouldn't say the word loud. He just doesn't seem as outspoken as I say at Kyron per se, when you guys go back and listen to that interview. But you can tell that this guy possesses confidence. This guy's got skills, and he is primed for a major season. So a must-have for me, Tyjae Spears, man. I'm excited. I was so happy to have him on the show. It was an absolute pleasure. Let's get to the interview. Let me know what you guys think after. Drop it in the comments. Tyjae Spears as a guy who is a sleeper, but also a must-have running back. Let's roll it. All right, man. Since we're talking about big-time must-have running backs on this show, I had to have one of my must-have running backs for fantasy football 2024. It's Tyjae Spears of the Tennessee Titans. Welcome to the show, man. I'm excited to have you.
Man, I'm excited to be here. I appreciate it. Hey, man, I appreciate your hat too, man. I see you repping.
I'm representing today, but don't get too excited because I have a bunch of hats behind me. I'm more supporting my players, my fantasy players. I don't have so much team loyalty, but I do like the Titans. I do like, the city. I love Tennessee. Great place, man. I've been down there. I think I was there for the draft a couple years ago, man. Amazing people.
No, it is. It's super great down here.
Yeah, I appreciate having you, man. Just had Trey Benson on the show, super nice guy. Had Kyron Williams on the show, super nice guy. I'm excited to have you on. People are excited because what the amazing thing about this is that a lot of fantasy players just see you as a number. Oh, he's RB, whatever he is. I'm going to draft him. But I really love this because we're able to put a personality behind, the number and the statistics and everything like that. So I'm really blessed and grateful to have, created this, to have you guys on here so that you guys can kind of connect with some of the listeners. So again, first of all, almost thank you for coming on again, man. Super
I,
pumped.
I appreciate you, man.
So first and foremost, I got so many questions here. I want to dive in first and foremost to tell you, are you familiar with fantasy football? Are you aware on where you're coming off in drafts right now? I just want to get an idea on your sense on how you're kind of viewed by 80 million plus people that play fantasy. 80 million plus people play fantasy across North America. I just wanted to know kind of where if you know where you're sitting on the rankings, or if you even care at this point, you know?
No, I'm not really too much familiar with it. Some of my friends play, but I really don't know where I'm sitting, and like I really don't care either.
Okay, there's a little bit of disrespect here. And when I told Trey Benson that he's RB 42 amongst running backs, he kind of was like, kind of take it back. I'm like, are you kidding me? So this is crazy. You're sitting as RB 29 and you're 92 overall, meaning you're coming off in round 7 in fantasy football drafts, which is
How many rounds they have?
it's typically around, it depends on how many players you have in your league and how many bench spots on your roster, but typically 20 rounds if you have a lot. And you're coming off round 7, again, which is disrespectful. The way I view you, Taj, I'm going to be straight up with you. And the way I've been telling my listeners is this. Derrick Henry was always drafted typically in round 1, okay? And I look at him as a guy, you're coming in to fill those shoes. And those are big shoes to fill because he's the king, right? That's how he's known as, right? So I look at a guy who's primed to take over that volume. We're looking at 280 freed up rushing attempts, right? So again, that's how I view you. So I'm really excited about you. I see a lot of upside, but you would know better, man. What kind of get right to it? What are your statistical goals for this year? Is there any? I know there's team goals, and I get that, the big vision. But for you personally, what are some personal goals for you going into the season and kind of expectations?
Yeah, it's just the first thing. Like, of course, Derrick Henry did what he did, and he gonna always be, the king over here in history. But like, it's not in my agenda to fill his shoes. It's in my agenda to like create my own path and walk in my own
Right.
shoes and walk in my own steps because I can never be Derrick Henry. And honestly, like, and but I can always be Tyjae Spears. So it's not in my intentions to
Right.
be him or to mimic him, to mimic anything he doing. I'm following my own path and I'm gonna create my own lane in this organization, and I'm be, so yeah. I'm just, following my own path and do it like that. Of course, like you got, a lot of respect for the guys that, him and a lot of guys that came before him, like, Eddie
For sure.
George and Chris Johnson and all that. But it's just, man, I don't get too big into statistics. I just want to be the best I can be. Be the best teammate I can be the best leader I can. It's just like help my team in every which way. No matter if I got to get on special teams, no matter if whatever I have to do in order for to help my team. What I'm saying, be the best we can be. Throughout the course of the season and postseason and in hopes to get to however far we're going in hopes to get to is winning as many games as we can. That's what I'm gonna do. And
Yeah.
it's just I just kind of be like selfless right now and like not really too worried about myself and worry about all the goals that that I can achieve. It's just like what can we do together, what I'm saying, because at the end of the day that's what really matters.
Yeah, and I want to first of all, amazing lion mentality. I appreciate that, and I like your attitude towards everything. And I want to stand corrected on that. I don't mean like fill his shoes, kind of like be like. I mean like there's just so much volume
It's
to be
just
had.
it's
Yeah,
no I promise
yeah,
it's no offense that
yeah,
I took to you or what I'm saying. I'm just trying to correct you. It's just like
for sure.
that get thrown out there a lot. It's like
Yeah,
me, if you really know me, if like you want your fans, like if you want the fans that's listening to get to know me, like, bro,
yeah.
I came from nothing. Like the last thing I'm trying to do is try to mimic somebody else or be somebody else. I'm like I'm Tyjae Spears in the flesh, and I'm gonna be the best I can be day in and day out.
I love that, man, and I love that. What I mean, yeah, again, there's just so much volume to be had, and I know you've got a big role for yourself
I know,
personally. So,
yeah, man. I know
yeah,
exactly. I know
you get
exactly
what I
what you
meant.
talk about, man. I
Yeah,
know
yeah.
exactly what you talk about.
So
You good?
I wasn't comparing you to him, but yeah, no, I'm glad you explained that. So thank you. So I really want to talk about also, could you, because you talk about like kind of being the underdog, the hardships. Are you talking particularly about your kind of upbringing? Or are you talking about the injury in
Just like
2020? Can you kind of give us some context? I want to learn more about you because I've heard stories like write ups on Wikipedia, blah blah blah, and like Reddit and blah blah blah. And this, I kind of want to hear it from you because I'm an underdog myself, but I want to kind of hear your kind of underdog story or like kind of your, you said you're blessed to be here, obviously. What were some of these obstacles you had to overcome? Because I'm really fascinated. And I love people that overcome adversity because I've done it myself. I'm really curious to hear your story.
yeah, it's just like, even from, just from growing up as a kid, like, you face adversity in the eyes like so many times, it becomes second nature. So like, of course, growing up, like growing through a lot, from the neighborhood and just, seeing a lot of different things that I wasn't supposed to see at a young age. And like that translating into me in my football where, lack of opportunities and not getting opportunities, not getting the correct exposure. Like my high school coach did the best he could with me, but I still didn't get the correct exposure because I told my ACL my first year of high school, and throughout the course, like just trying to earn myself and prove to my coach and earn a role on my high school team, and finally got it. And of course, like a few minor injuries that held me back, and finally got my shot. So just playing 1 year, 1 year high school football, it was kind of hard for me to get like crazy amount of offers. So I had to roll with what I had, and like just at Tulane. Just I don't I had a struggle with like with my ACT. So with my ACT to get into that. So like I took the ACT like 5, 6 different times, and I finally passed it the last time after like 2, 3 months of studying, like, almost every day driving 30 minutes away. So it's a lot of adversity that I had to face, and the list can go on and on and on. It's just like, just dealing with those trials and looking them in the eye and overcoming them. And like that's a part of my that's a part of my background, man. Adversity overcoming. So it's just super cool to be in this space in this time and with this opportunity, man. I'm so blessed.
Yeah, and you're such, like I said, such a good situation for you there with Tennessee with that revamped offense there. But one more thing I want to talk about the past, then we'll move forward here. 2020, I was reading stuff. I just kind of want to hear from you. 2020, you had multiple games, 100 yards rushing. Then you had the ACL meniscus knee injury, and then
Uh,
again you bounced back, and you had an amazing year in 2022. Just to give everybody some context here, 19 touchdowns on the ground, 1,500 yards in his last year of college, 229 attempts. Correct me if I'm wrong here. There was something I read as I was reading those. Was there a point where you felt like, oh, I want to quit, or it got so hard after that knee tear, or was there any thought like that? Because again, I read something. Was that true that you almost kind of gave up there, or just wanted to kind of throw in the towel, or is that not true?
Yeah, of course. Like when you're in the middle of a storm, like, and you don't see, what I'm saying, you in the eye of the storm, and you don't really see you don't see no light at the end of the tunnel. Of course, it get hard. Like, of course, those thoughts came across my head like a quitting, because you thinking like you'll never be the same again, and also it's just like you just thinking like you'll never be the same again. But like with the support system that I had, like within my athletic trainers, my family, my dad, my mom, my brothers, they just kept me, they kept my spirit alive, and they kept me going, they kept me enduring. And also like in the process, you see small victories and you run with them. So now, it built me up to the person I am today.
I'm curious also, can you walk us through like a kind of a typical day for you in training, kind of diet? We just kind of want to get a feel for. That's another reason why I really want to do this is because again, we see you on game day, right? Like it's like I did some MMA in the past. Train hard, fight easy, right? Was kind of my mentality, right? Sometimes those sparring sessions were always harder than the actual fight.
Mhm.
How rigorous is your training right now? I know training camp is just starting, but how rigorous and how rough is your training camps? And like a typical day. Can you guys give us like an overview of your days?
See, like, you just like, it's just like so many people be. It's just honestly like it just, man, it's so hard. Like it is hard because like me personally, like you just try to push yourself and push yourself and push yourself. Like every day is a new day. It don't really matter what you did the previous day. Every day is a new day for you to go reach new heights and go push yourself to the max. And also the same amount of the same time that you spend pushing yourself, you also got to recover so you can be ready for the next day, and also so you can replenish your body. So it's like right now we hitting and getting it. So like your typical whatever your typical 12-hour day, like that's what everybody around the league doing. It's just like how consistent can you be within them 12 hours? That's what's gonna set you apart. That's what's gonna give you the edge. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I try to not to focus my lens on, on other people around the lead or focus on other people. I just try to focus on, what I can do and who I can be and within my 24 hours and, just be the best I can be.
Okay, and again, I'm going back to my fantasy hat here, and you probably don't know this. I heard that head coach Callahan was saying something along the line with volume distribution. They're going to kind of ride the hot hand. They haven't decided on who the one is, who the two is. I understand it's a team effort, but do you have any inkling on week one who's coming out on that first drive? I mean, no word again, probably
Hey
because
man, I let the coaches coach and I let the coaches make the tough decisions and I just they gonna put me in position, whatever the position they put me in is on me to make it in. You know what I'm saying? Like that's why I'm working so hard. So put myself in the best position. Also put myself in the best position, but first put myself in the best position to help the team. So whatever
yeah.
decision that they make, that's kind of on them. That's why they in the position they in. So they got to handle their business when it comes to that.
And that's the same feeling I'm getting from every running back I've talked to. It's like you guys are just going to put your best foot
Yeah,
forward and
because
go
it's just
for it.
like if you focus on trying to do your job, if you focus on trying to do your job and somebody else's job, if you try to focus on doing your job and some stuff that you cannot control, you ain't even gonna be able to do your job right. So
Absolutely.
before I even sit up here and get in my head on trying to do coach job,
You're
I ain't
right.
doing that.
You're
I
right.
ain't doing that. They're
It's
gonna, you know what I'm saying? And I just think like, man. I just wash my hands with it all. Like I say, show up with it. Showing up every day, being the consistent person that I am, that I strive to be, and
It's the
that's
old
it.
it's the old mentality of just building the tallest tower. That's what I'm about. If I focus on another person's podcast, other person, like, then I'm not focusing on myself. So I'm just building my tallest tower, and that's what I'm getting from you guys, which is the best way to be. But yeah, it just seems like there's a lot of committees going on right now, a lot of uncertainty. And from our point of view, just to give you some context, because again, we're just thinking like, who's going to start? Who's going to give me fantasy points? So we're a little shallow and greedy, and that's straight up. That's how fantasy heads think. Like,
Nah,
yeah.
yeah. I understand. I understand. I
Yeah.
understand.
But as you're, because I know you're gonna have a big year. I'm confident you're gonna have a big year. I'm very intuitive with that, and yeah, exactly. The year that Kareem Hunt broke out, I talked to him. He was endorsing the brand. The year David Johnson 2016 on the Cardinals broke out, he was endorsing the brand. I'm just like. It's knock on wood. I've been very good at this. I'm very intuitive. So I want to give you a heads up though with fantasy community. Like I said, as you get bigger and bigger in fantasy, they're going to come at you on Twitter, on Instagram. Just don't take it personally and understand. And I was telling the other guys this as well, Kyron, that your fantasy points are directly proportional to reality. So
Yeah.
if you get like 2 touchdowns in a game, it's good because it actually helps you in fantasy. And so many players come out and I don't care about your fantasy teams. But I think that's also related to just people trolling you a lot. It's like, oh, you didn't do anything, blah, blah, blah. And it just gets to you to the point where you're like, I don't want to hear it anymore. So hopefully they go easy on you because you look like a super nice guy, really humble, man. I like it.
I be chilling, man. Hey, they gonna have their opinion at the end of the day, and it don't even really matter, man. I ain't even on social media right now anyway, so I ain't gonna be able to see it.
They're pretty chill. Yeah, I saw some of your training videos lately. You look really good though. The videos that you are showing, you look like you're in the zone, which is good. honed in,
Yes, sir.
honed in and focused. I also want to ask you, man, how's the dynamic going now? Like Will Levis, you got Ridley there now, Hopkins, Boyd. How is the team chemistry? You guys been going out, chilling a lot, training a lot. Do you feel? I guess are you feeling really good about this offense now with these new additions all around, man? Is it
Yeah,
exciting?
man, it's great, man. It's great, and like you said, we've been doing a lot together. We've been doing a lot of team bonding, so we feel good about this group, and we feel good about like our camaraderie and all that. And like when it's time to work, everybody come to work, and everybody get the everybody get the amount of work within the amount of time that we get that we amounted. So like man, everything is going good, but like I said, every day you got to keep on climbing that ladder.
Yeah, it's amazing how humble some of you guys are. Most of you guys are now after talking to you. It's pretty amazing. I want to know also kind of what do you do for fun? Kind of like rapid fire, like, what do you do for fun basically? What's
What
kind
do
of
I
like
do for fun?
your
What do I
downtime?
do for fun? What do I do for fun? Dang.
Sounds
What
like
do I
work all
do?
the time by the sounds of it.
I don't really work. So look, I be watching. So I kind of like, I like been watching. I've been watching a lot of different movies. Like
I've been
I'm
watching
big.
Cobra Kai. I just been
Yeah,
watching. Did you watch
I ain't
Cobra
watching
Kai?
that though. I ain't
No.
watching that though. I'm
Okay.
watching like I be watching like BET Plus. What else I do for fun? I like going bowling. Me and my dad go bowling often.
Okay.
Almost every time I'm home. What else? It's something else that I really like doing. Bowling. It was another event, bro. I really started like I forgot. It's gonna come back to me in about 2 seconds, 3 seconds.
But no video game stuff like that for you.
No, I really don't like video games. I don't really have too much patience and like sit around. I kind of
Yeah.
get fidgety and I can't stay on the game. I've been and quit before you know it because I've been to start losing. I've been to quit. But like I used to growing up. I not growing up, but like in like college, high school, I used to really like Fortnite though.
Okay. Okay.
Fortnite and GTA. But other than that, no, I don't play games no more.
I'm
I
more of
have
a.
two dogs too, so
What kind of dogs are they?
I have a pit bull and a fluffy Frenchie.
Okay. Yeah, I think I asked Kyron what he does, and he says he hangs out with his dogs.
Yeah, I be trying to hang out with them, but they hard headed and
Now I know where you guys get that inner dog from when you're running. It's like, man, you know what I mean? It's like,
I gotta do this
yeah.
for my dogs back at home.
Yeah, yeah. I asked the other guys the same question. I'm going to ask you as well. This pretty. I got a couple more questions here, but one more question here really is like, what are you thinking mentally? Like some running backs, they're like, I got to rip the guy's arm off when I'm running or push him, whatever. Like they call run hard. What is some of the thought process like mentally as you're running? I'm just curious, kind of your thought process.
That's crazy because I ask myself the same question, but I really don't. I really don't be thinking about nothing. Like I be so focused trying to get past this guy. Like I really don't. In a moment, I really don't be thinking about nothing. Like I just be trying to. I really don't know.
Kind of
And
muscle
and
memory,
that's when
right?
I be in my flow. I really don't be thinking, so I just react and let it happen. When I'm in my flow, I love when I'm in my flow. But when I'm thinking, I don't know. When I'm thinking, for me, that's a problem. So I try to like stay in my flow and like be the best and be in the moment. But but
Okay.
when I start thinking, so I'm gonna start thinking like it's gonna be me or it's gonna be you, and
Yes.
I know who it's gonna be, but I ain't gonna tell you who it's gonna be. I'm gonna just let you see it. But
David Goggins. I don't know if you heard of David Goggins. Probably heard of him. Marathon runner, former Navy guy, motivational kind of guy. He talks about taking the other person's soul. He's like, it's just a figure of speech. If you guys are racing, right? It's like, okay, survival of the fittest. Kyron Williams was saying as well. You just got to outdo your defender. It kind of that primal instinct comes in, and you just tear it up. I think it sounds like it kicks in with with the mentality and your muscle memory and all the training you put in. I guess it sounds like it just automatic and you kind of go, so
yeah, it do some, and like that's why it's so hard to explain it because what I'm saying. Like I don't know. It's just like I don't think I really ever really like. I talk a lot of stuff, but I don't really talk that much stuff though.
okay, sounds good. I believe in you this year, 100%. I believe in you, but understand this: once you take off this year, and I mean like take off to the fantasy, moon this year, which I believe you will. Everybody's going to be coming at you, man. They're going to be coming at you left, right, and center. Like Kyron Williams, man, he's like, but he's kind of embraced it. But just a heads up, it's going to be booming for you. But I want to ask you this. Like I said, I'm excited for you. I'll leave you with this. What would you say to everybody who's considering drafting, who's kind of on the fence about drafting you? What would you say to them for this year, expectation wise?
Hey man, what you see is what you get. What you see is what you get, man. Like you said, like just hearing it, like man, I'm super blessed to be in this position, and one thing I can say, I'm not taking it. I ain't gonna take it lightly. So every day that I come to work, every day that I suit up, I'm gonna put my best foot up, put my best foot forward, and man, just be the best I can be. But like honestly, like what I said, what you see is what you get. So it's on you if you gonna put the faith in me to draft me. So
I
you know
do.
what I'm
I
saying.
do.
I know what
I'll,
my faith at. It's all about where you gonna have yours at. What you see is what you get.
I'll leave you this story I want to share with you. This is crazy. People think I'm crazy for this. So here's what I did. So I drafted Brees Hall. Everybody knows how good Brees is, how his numbers are crazy, yada, yada, right? So I ended up drafting Brees in this league and I traded, listen to this. It's in a league that I'm in. I traded my Brees Hall for you and Keon Coleman. So check the disrespect here, right? Everybody was ripping me. How could you do that? How you're nuts. And then the league, the people that run the league emailed me. They're like, are you sure you want to do this? And I had to justify how I love Keon Coleman. I'm like, listen, Tyjae Spears is going to crush it. And I straight up, 280 freed up
The
attempts.
people from the league email
The
you
people
that?
that run the site, because they think I was like that I got ripped off, so they were kind of vetoing the trade. I'm like, dude, I'm like, are you kidding me? Tyjae is going to crush it, and Keon Coleman. Do you want to talk about volume there? Uh, Diggs is gone, and Gabe Davis is gone. 200 plus attempts are gone. So Keon Coleman comes in. Dude, that guy's going to tear it up. So I get both of these guys. I get an ace wide receiver, and I get a top running back for Brees Hall. Sure, I'll do. And I'm more of a risk taker, right? So I did. I'm like, but my team is balanced out either way. So again, that's how much faith I have in you that
Man, I
that
appreciate
everybody
it, man. I
everybody called
appreciate
me
it.
crazy. Everybody called me crazy, but I'm like, no, I'm not crazy because you are extremely talented. And that's the thing with everybody. It's like they got to see it to believe it. I believe it, and then I see it. If that makes sense to you, right? Just got to have
Man,
faith.
hey, you gotta have faith, man. You
Yeah.
gotta have faith. So, but like I say, man, I appreciate you for, I appreciate you for drafting me, man. I appreciate that.
Well, I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate you coming to the Fantasy Sports Summit August 21st. They got to get a chance to ask you some questions, and I appreciate how humble you are, man. It's been a pleasure having you on, and I appreciate sharing your story. I'm blessed to share your story with my listeners, and when I see you on the field, it's nice to put. It's not just a guy running. It's not just an athlete. It's a guy with a whole backstory and trials and tribulations, everything, and overcoming adversities to get where they've gotten. So I'm blessed. I'm blessed to have seen that side of you as well. So thank you.
Man, I appreciate it.
So, guys, Tyjae Spears, make sure you draft him. A lot of confidence this year, lion mentality. Tyjae Spears, thanks for coming on, man.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks, guys. All right, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Tyjae Spears. Again, I thank you for coming on the show, man. And as you can see, man, tons of confidence. And he's his own man. He believes in himself. He doesn't want to fill Derrick Henry's shoes. He's his own man. He's ready to dominate. 280 freed up rushing attempts. He is primed for a big season. It's going to be massive, man. He is the man, and I cannot wait to see him on the field. Make sure you guys secure him on your rosters. A value. Again, Derrick Henry's coming off round 1 for years on that team. Now you're getting a 7-round discount on his replacement. Well, not his specific replacement, but a guy that's going to fill that role and possibly do it better. I know it's a bold statement, but Tyjae's got that type of upside, all right? Tyjae Spears, round 7 to 8 ADP, RB28, give or take on the consensus, the Kachipsis rankings. Make sure you draft him. He is a must-draft, must-have fantasy football running back, okay? Next guy here. You heard me talk about him. Now, I'm hearing a lot of people saying fade this guy, which is crazy. There's so much bad advice out there. You want to tune out everything that's out there, okay? And again, I want to remind you, the guy I'm talking about is Zamir White, round 5 ADP. Last year, everybody told you J.K. Dobbins, round 4. They told you Dalvin Cook, round 5. They told you Tony Pollard, 8th overall. They told you Austin Eckler, 2nd overall. They told you T. Higgins, round 2. There's so much bad information right now in regards to fantasy football analysis, and people are not seeing the Zamir White vision that I'm seeing, okay? Round 5 ADP, absolute workhorse, number 1 in rushing attempts at the end of last season. This guy was eating. This guy was rushing over 100 yards per game, and there's always some sort of weird reason on why not to draft him. Oh, he didn't start the season. Josh Jacobs was there. He didn't surpass Jacobs. Yeah, possible. Yeah. There's, and they compare him to other stats. Well, he didn't do well here. He didn't, that metric and that. Dude, focus on what he did. He was a workhorse guy. And another thing you want to focus, and one thing that's huge in fantasy football and success of fantasy football is opportunity and depth chart. Guys, literally nobody else on this depth chart. He is the man. He is the alpha. He is the workhorse. He is going to eat. Zamir White is primed for a massive season. Now, do I trust Zamir White as my RB1? He could be. He's going to be a top 10 guy. I'm telling you right now, if things go, which I believe they will, exactly how I believe they will, he is a top 10 running back. Easy, based on volume, opportunity, talent. He's got all the metrics. He's got all the skills. Okay? Is he as explosive as a Saquon or a Brees? Probably not, but he's going to get the volume. Volume trumps everything. Okay? So, when I look at him, is he going to be my RB1? No. Because again, going back to my conversation, you got to go a little top heavy a little bit. You got to get a Byjan or a Breach, something like that. as an RB2. He's let's put it this way, he's my RB3 to 4 on my rosters, okay? I like him. I like the talent. I love the upside. I love the opportunity, and the volume's going to be there. And Madison is just not a concern to me at all. He's a failed backup and a failed starter. Madison is just a depth piece, okay? So Zamir White, primed, must-have running back. Own him, draft him, thank me later. It's one of those type of things, okay? You're getting a value. You're getting an RB1 with 0 committee, and you're getting him round 5. It's a no-brainer with nobody there that's going to steal the volume. It's an opportunity thing. You got to see the vision, guys, okay? Could he bust? If they bring in maybe a free agent Dalvin Cook, and Dalvin Cook has his last hurrah and he dips into the volume or something crazy like that. But if it stays the way that it is, which I believe it will, and again, he came out of the NFL draft untouched, Zamir White is going to thrive, okay? Again, if you're new to the channel, smash it, tap it, slap it. I had a lot of energy today. Hopefully you guys could carry this into your work day. I hope you guys enjoy this. I know a lot of people are listening to this every morning at 7 a.m. I'm doing the shows. Hopefully this is bringing you guys a lot of joy, a lot of passion, a lot of excitement. And I thank you guys for being here. So hit the thumbs up and go grab the 16-round draft solution. It'll literally put you guys light years ahead of everybody else in your league because you have a backup plan for a backup plan. It's going to be an ironclad fantasy football roster. You will be wowed. Okay, guys, thank you for being here. I appreciate you guys. Smash it, tap it, slap it. Again, thank you, Taj Spears. Hope you guys enjoyed this running back episode. Hope you guys enjoyed the Tyjae interview. It's going to be an amazing fantasy football season. All right? Fantasy football is back. We'll talk soon. I'm out.